person.
Thank you so much for being willing to meet with me today. I realize that it's hard to present problems that a business might have, and I appreciate the trust that you've entrusted with me to be able to take the problem that you've encountered and be able to come up with possible solutions.
We need one.
Well, that's good. A lot of the things that I've come up with have come from personal experience as well as from some research that I've developed in coming up with a solution to your question of, how can we keep employees a longer time in a small college town?
Hire high schoolers.
Sorry. Which would be nice, very nice, because they'll be here a lot longer, that's for sure. A lot of things I found have been found in multiple websites online. You can do research and type in this simple question and find a lot of answers and expound on it for yourself and decide for your board which is best for you. A lot of the answers as well that I've come up with, I've realized through personal experience. My family has owned a snow shack business in which when we first bought the business, I was too young to run it by myself. So my family had to hire on employees that would be able to stay for an extended amount of time and that would be quality people to represent our business. So hopefully the same tactics that we used with our snow shack will be able to help you in your business of Jamba Juice. Because
I'm intrigued.
Oh, me too. I've come up with 4 major solutions that we can possibly go over that will provide, hopefully, the best atmosphere for providing your employees with opportunities to stay as well as clarifying your expectation of what you need them to do. One of the first things is contract
specificity.
Specificity, thank you. Raise for returning employees semester by semester, allowing for sorry, I am spacing out on everything. Discounted prices for employees, as well as advertising for those long-term employees. And we'll go into these details a little bit more so you can kind of wrap your head around and see which one fits best for you.
Now, did you do all 4 at the Snow Shack?
We tried to do quite a few of them, and I can go into a lot more of those details as we go through them.
Yeah, I want to know which one worked best in mine.
Yeah, no problem. With the contract specification, it's hard when you hire on an employee knowing what to expect in the long term. Because sometimes, as we discussed earlier, you have somebody who's committed to staying for 2 semesters and then last minute bails out and they only stay for 1. And that leaves you in a tough situation because you have to hire on a new employee and you have to train them all over again. So there's a large turnover.
You mean like when they have a baby?
Yeah, tough situation like that. So with you, something that will solve the problem is setting the bar right from the beginning. So when you hire on that employee, you talk with them about how long they can stay, and then you fill out the contract along with their W-2 on how long they can stay. And they have to sign the document at the end, and the owner will sign it. That way your employee understands that they need to stay for that specific amount of time. And it also allows you, as the general manager, to understand how long you're going to be having an employee so you know when you should be hiring at certain times. It'll make your job easier, and it'll make things so much more clear. We did that at the Snow Shack, in that when we hired on people, we specifically asked them how long they had till graduation and what their plans were after their graduation of high school, because we hired on high school students. So it was just a simple Snow Shack business that our family owned, and so it worked really well to be able to talk with them before we hired them on how long they could stay.
How did they respond to that? Like, because they're like, oh, what the future holds? Or
They normally did very well, and if there was a certain situation that came up, we would be very willing to work with them. Some people would approach us with the problem saying, I decided I wanted to do a sport, and so I can't work as often, so I'm wondering if I should quit. My parents would work through them with that problem and figure out the best solution so that they could stay for as long as they committed to it at the beginning. So it requires some flexibility, but at the same time saying, I'd really like for you to stay as long as you said you would. Does that make sense? Okay, good. The second point that I've come up with is offer a raise to returning employees. This is something that I have found not only with our Snow Shack, but with jobs that I've had in the past. I worked for mosquito control, which is a very, very taxing, very laborious farm job.
Yeah.
But every year I would return, I would get a 50-cent to 75-cent raise. So my hourly wage was increasing, and you could really tell that through my paychecks, and so I felt valued as an employee, and it was enticing for me to keep going.
So what you're saying is that it's easier for us to keep you than to replace you.
Yes.
Cost-wise and everything, the training goes into it, right?
Yes. It will not only benefit the long retention of employees, you'll also have more experienced employees rather than having to hire on, so that you'll be more productive so you can get customers pushed through quicker. Okay. So you'll be losing a little bit of profit just by paying them, say, a 10-cent raise the next semester that they return. It's just a little bit of money in their paycheck that makes them feel valued, but it allows for you to have experienced customers with the best opportunity to serve your customers. Okay. So that is something that is very enticing, especially for college students, because we're all kind of desperate for money.
They were saying, can I get that $10 an hour job instead of the...
It's true. They go looking for the nice ones. Mm-hmm. One of the other things is advertising for long-term employees. My personal belief is if you advertise for long-term employees, you won't even need to do any of the 3 other options because you will already be receiving less applicants, but they're the cream of the crop applicants, the ones you are already looking for. So they come in with the idea in mind saying they're looking for a long-term employee, and I'm that person to fulfill that need. I will be staying for this long, and that way they've already committed to it, and you don't even need to lose profit on paying them more every semester. You already have that person who's committed to it.
Interesting.
And that could be simply done by billboards. You could put it on Indeed.com.
Do you think they'd really think, though, it was a good long-term job, making Jamba Juices? I mean, the Snow Shack, did you actually have some long-term employees?
We had employees that lasted about 1.5 years. And so they were there for quite a long time until I turned old enough to go. Yeah. Most of the people that we were looking for, we sought after the employees we knew would be in Othello for at least a year through the summer.
Gotcha.
And so that was our opportunity to kind of advertise and seek after those.
Because here, this dumb track system that you have, right? You start in the fall, you don't come back till the spring.
Yeah.
You're gone.
Yeah, it's really challenging. You can see how that creates quite a bit of speed bumps and slows you down in progress. But if you send out just a simple Indeed.com opportunity for a job, I am sure, say somebody gets off their mission and they realize they're going to school and they have no money. So before they go, they could be looking up advertisements on jobs and they're like, I'm going to school for a whole year. And you're already getting applicants that are looking right off the bat for a long-term job. And the last thing, I don't know if you guys are already doing this, but I figured it'd be something just to suggest. Offer discounts on your Jamba Juice products for your employees. It's just kind of an added benefit that lets them keep coming back. When we had our Snow Shack, our employees could have as many snow cones as they wanted because it's simply water and sugar. So we weren't really losing a profit off of them eating our product. And when I worked at a restaurant, every shift I worked, they would allow me to have one meal. And while I would work there, I really felt valued because I could get a whole nice meal off of every time I worked. And they had the food in bulk, so they weren't really losing too much. You, as the manager of Jamba Juice, can offer, say for instance, $1 discount off of a small Jamba Juice for every shift your employee works. So that way, college students are always looking for a cheap deal.
Or at least they have a good meal in there somewhere, right?
Yeah, they're getting some nutritious.
Or at least we'll feed them the oatmeal.
Yeah, that way they're finding that opportunity to feel not only valued, but they get added perks that make it nice to work in a place such as Jamba Juice. Because who wouldn't want the most delicious?
So kind of the perks I'm hearing you say is food and money.
Yes.
And in exchange for staying a whole year.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Okay.
A lot of these things added together will allow you the best productivity. These ideas are to be considered. You don't have to implement all of them, but you can use whichever one you feel is best for your business and find the one that you feel will be the most beneficial. My hope is that even one of these suggestions will bring you the most bang for your buck, and it will allow you to solve that problem of being able to keep employees. And I appreciate you allowing me the opportunity to come in to present to you today. And if you have more questions, feel free to call me, text me, or I can come in and talk to you again.
Okay, thank you, Sarah.